Hello class. So we're back with our discussions on auditing theory, ano? Pag-uusapan natin sa video lecture na ito, yung title, ano? Yung makikita po ninyo, Audit Planning. Sir, title lang. Siyempre, ano, lalagyan natin ito ng pagpapaliwanag. Subukan natin itong himayin pero in a more summarized approach. Okay? So what is audit planning? Now, going back sa previous na chapter natin, ano? Of course, on the reference of Hermosilla and Salosagcol. Sabi kasi natin, that is the second step. So kung ito yung audit process natin, nandito na tayo sa pangalawang baitang, no? Sabi nga doon, in planning an audit, the auditor obtains more detailed knowledge about the anong kinakailangan natin kunin. Okay? Naintindihan, malaman yung client's business and industry. Para saan? Okay? Para maintindihan natin yung mga transactions and events affecting the financial statements. So yun po yung pinaka-nature, ano, yung target ng ating audit planning. Therefore, when we are talking about audit planning, it involves developing a general audit strategy. So we are already strategizing here, no? Tama ba yung term ko, strategizing? Okay. Anyway, ang itinutukoy natin dito, we are developing a strategy kung paano ba natin gagawin yung audit. It provides a detailed approach, no, for the expected conduct of the audit. The auditor's main objective in planning the audit is to determine the scope of the audit procedures to be performed. Kapag di ba nagpaplano tayo, kahit na anong bagay man yan, kahit sa anong aspeto ng buhay natin, pag nagpaplano tayo, we are planning ahead, pinag-iisipan natin ano yung gusto nating mangyari sa hinaharap. So once we are doing the audit planning, we are developing the approach that we will have to do to perform the audit. Okay? So we determine the scope of the audit procedures. Now, the auditor should plan the audit work. So kinakailangang planuhin ito so that the audit will be performed in an effective and efficient manner. Effectiveness and efficiency. Yung extent ng planning, it will depend, una, sa laki or liit ng entity, yung size nito. Pangalawa, yung complexity ng audit, gaano ba kakomplikado yan? Pangatlo, yung experience ng auditor sa entity. Kung wala ka masyadong experience, first time mo to audit, no? That is your first audit client. So, medyo nangangapa ka pa. So, yung experience mo, either zero or mababaw pa lang. So, of course, it will affect the extent of your planning. And the knowledge of the business. How well you understand the business, no? So, yan po yung mga factors na nakakaapekto sa extent ng ating planning. Now, bakit mahalaga na meron tayong sapat na pagpaplano? Okay, of course, in any planning type, any types of planning, mahalaga po ang pagpaplano para syempre hindi na tayo mamroblema sa hinaharap. Kung ano man yung mga ma-encounter natin kasi napagplanuhan na po natin ito. Planning helps ensure the appropriate attention is devoted to important areas of the audit. Especially that dito sa planning, meron tayong mga risk assessment. Hindi po natin nabibigyan ng equal attention lahat ng mga accounts, lahat ng mga i-audit natin. Depende po yan sa mga importante na mga areas ng audit. Okay? So that we can provide appropriate attention doon sa mga mas kinakailangang bantayan. It helps identify potential problem. Siyempre, pag pinagpaplanuhan na natin, okay, nagkakaroon na ng mga brainstorming, nagkakaroon na tayo ng idea, ano nga yung ifo-focus natin, ano yung mga potential problems sa mga areas na ito. It allows the work to be completed expeditiously. Okay? It assists in the proper assignment and coordination of work. Okay, kasi pag pinagpaplanuhan natin yan, we are also planning about kanino ito. Sino yung hahawak ng account na ito? Kanino ito? How will the coordination be done? It helps ensure that the audit is conducted effectively and efficiently. Okay? So kasama na dyan, ilan ba yung mga staff natin sa audit client na ito, sa audit engagement na ito. Ano-ano yung mga accounts na hahawakan nila. Okay, those are some of the of the things that we do when we conduct the audit planning. Now, according to PSA 315, at sinasabi po doon na yung auditor kinakailangan na mag-gather, mag-obtain ng sufficient understanding of the entity and its environment. As part of the audit planning, kinakailangan na maintindihan ng auditor yung kliyente niya. Okay? The entity, yung company, at yung environment kung saan ito nag-ooperate. Ano yung nature ng industry? Ano yung nature ng business ni client? Kasama na po dyan ang internal control nito. Such understanding involves obtaining the knowledge about the entities. So ano daw yung mga kinakailangang intindihin na magkaroon ng kaalaman yung auditor? Ito pong mga sumusunod, A, B, C, D, E. Letter A, yung industry, yung regulatory and other external factors, including financial reporting framework. Of course, no? Anong industry type? Ano yung mga regulations na kung saan kinakailangan mag-comply ni entity, ni company, ni auditee, yung ating audit client? Ano pa mga external factors na nakakaapekto sa kliyente na yan? So, halimbawa, during this time of pandemic, naapektuhan ba ito because of our scenario, because of our current situation? Okay? May mga special especially ito including financial reporting framework. May unique ba na financial reporting framework ito na sinusunod, or are we following IFRS? Or Philippine Financial Reporting Standards? Pangalawa, nature of the entity, including entity selection and application of accounting policies. Pangatlo, objectives and strategies and the related business risks that may result in a material misstatements of the financial statements. Okay? Objectives at saka mga estratehiya at mga related business risks. Ano-ano ba yung mga business risks? Okay? Sige, gawan ko na lang ito ng separate na video lecture. Meron akong konting slides on different types of risks, the nature of risks. So let me just present it to you on a separate video lecture para maintindihan po ninyo ano yung difference ng business risk, financial reporting risk, audit risk, especially na later on sa chapter na ito, pag-uusapan natin yung audit risk, yung audit model. At may mga iba't ibang risk tayo na pag-uusapan. So kasama po yan sa iniintindi natin. Sa kinakailangan nating malaman. Measurement and review of the entity's performance. Okay? How do the client measure the performance? Ano yung mga KPIs nito? What is the review process? At saka, of course, yung internal control. Kasi sabi nga dito, sa in-underline ko, including its internal control. Now, hinighlight ko po ito, obtaining sufficient understanding of the entity and its environment. Paano po ito? Now, para yung audit ay maging successful, it will be conducted effectively and efficiently. Si auditor, dapat mag-obtain siya ng sufficient level of knowledge. Sapat na level ng kaalaman of the entity's business para i-identify at intindihin yung mga events, mga pangyayari, mga transactions, at mga practices that may have a significant effect on the financial statements. Of course, ang end goal natin dito is to provide an opinion, di ba, sa fairness ng presentation ng financial statements. So, ano ba yung impact po nito? May significant effect ba ito sa financial statements? Okay? Please take note. The better the auditor understands the client's operations, mas efficient siya. Okay? The more efficient the examination is likely to be, at saka, yung value ay mas mataas. The greater the value to the client of the auditor services. Kasi 'di ba, ang hirap nga naman gawin ng siyang kung paano ito gagawin in the first place. Pero kung naiintindihan mo, yung trabaho mo, madali na lang siyang i-perform. Ganyan po yan sa audit, ano? Kung naiintindihan mo yung kliyente na ino-audit mo, alam mo kung ano yung mga titignan. Alam mo kung saan ka mag-focus. Otherwise, kasi remember, effective and efficient. Pag efficient, di ba, we are talking about mabilis ba tayo dito? Kasi pag efficiency, we are talking of time din, di ba? Time value. So, kapag hindi mo kasi alam yung ginagawa mo, kasi hindi mo alam, hindi mo naiintindihan yung kliyente mo, hindi mo tuloy alam kung saan ka magfo-focus. Lahat ng mga aspeto tinitignan mo, pero yung iba kasi doon, hindi naman ganun ka-significant at wala namang potential effect sa ating financial statements, no? Walang significant effect or impact. So kapag alam mo, so the better the auditor understands the client's operations, alam mo kung saan magfo-focus. Hindi divided yung attention mo or hindi kalat, hindi sabog. Okay? Also, tandaan po ninyo ito. If the auditor understands the operations of the client, the auditor is often able to evaluate the reasonableness of the client's estimates. Because many of the transactions, many of the events, okay, mga financial transactions involve estimates. If you understand the operations of the client, you can identify, okay, you can evaluate yung reasonableness ng mga accounting estimates. In addition, procedure can be selected with more assurance, or perhaps uniquely applicable procedures can be designed. Okay? So, napipili natin kung ano ba yung dapat na approach natin dito, ano ba yung mga audit procedures na gagawin natin. Consider this one, and please take note of this one. As part of our understanding the entity and its environment, we have to understand yung objective at saka yung mga strategies and the related business risks. Diba? Nabanggit ko na ito kanina, pero sabi ko nga, bibigyan ko kayo ng separate lecture dito about sa business risk at saka yung risks in general, the nature of risks. Hindi ko mabigkas, no? Parang, anong sinasabi ko? Risks. An auditor's understanding of business risks encountered by the, parang ang dami nitong risks, no? Encountered by the entity increases the likelihood of identifying risks of material misstatement. Na conscious na tuloy ako doon, no? And helps the auditor design appropriate audit procedures. Pag naiintindihan po natin ano yung mga exposures natin, saan tayo pwede magkaroon ng mga risk, no? It increases the likelihood na ma-identify natin yung mga material misstatements at matutulungan yung auditor na mag-design ng tamang mga audit procedures. Pangalawang check, understand the entity's measurement of performance. O yung kanina, no, na banggit na rin natin. Because this may affect or this may create pressure on the entity that may either, dalawa lang yan. Kasi di ba may mga key performance indicators. May pressure sa management, no? Sa company as a whole. It will either motivate the management na gawin ang tama to take action to improve the business processes, the business performance, or i-manipulate yung FS. Kaya nga, dito papasok yung mga fraudulent financial reporting. Because under doon sa ating fraud triangle, there is the pressure. Okay? So, ganun po kahalaga na naiintindihan natin yung entity at saka yung environment nito, yung ating mga kliyente in general. Now, how do we understand the client and its environment, no? We have to gather sources, we have to gather information. And the sources of information can come from the following. Una, pwede nating i-review yung prior year's working papers. Kung recurring audit yan, malamang nagkakaroon ka ng access sa mga prior year working papers para makita mo ano yung ginawa last year. Okay, pangalawa, tour of clients' facilities. Observation, bibisitahin ninyo yung mga plant sites, yung office, no? Pangatlo, syempre through interviews, discussions, meetings, no? Discussion with people within and outside the entity. Okay? I hope medyo nako-connect, na i-relate po ninyo yung iba sa mga napag-aralan na natin in the past. Okay? reading books, periodicals, and other publications related to the client's industry. In the website, no, may mga website yung ating kliyente. Okay? So may mga information about them. And sometimes, pag kilala yung kliyente natin, may mga balita about sa kanila, may mga publications na may kinalaman sila, or yung environment or yung industry na kinabibilangan nila, na maaring merong effect sa kanila. Ano? Or reading corporate documents and financial reports. Okay? Mga minutes of meetings, mga contracts, ano pa, mga forecasts, at marami pa pong iba. Ito mga internal documents ito, kasi corporate documents po ito, and financial reports. Now, please take note, pag meron tayong mga staff, may mga assistants tayo, at assigned po yan sa audit engagement, no? Si auditor should ensure na yung mga assistants na yon, okay, can obtain sufficient knowledge of the client's business and industry. Hindi lang naman si senior. Okay? Dapat lahat ng audit, lahat ng team sa audit engagement ay merong sufficient knowledge about the client's business and industry para ma-perform nila ng maayos yung kanilang trabaho. Especially doon sa mga items, doon sa mga accounts na na-delegate sa kanila, sa mga trabaho na ipinasa sa kanila. Kung hindi mo alam kung ano yung ginagawa mo, kung hindi mo alam, no, yung kliyente, wala kang idea, no, sabay ka lang sa flow, pero hindi mo alam, medyo lutang ka, maapektuhan yung ating trabaho. Okay? Hindi tayo magiging efficient dyan. Okay, users of information obtained. Sabi dito, yung knowledge, yung kaalaman natin sa business ng ating client is a frame of reference. Okay? Point of reference within which the auditor exercises professional judgment. So, it is a matter of professional judgment. Understanding the business and using this information appropriately assists the auditor in what? Una, sa pag-assess ng risk or risk assessment and identifying potential problems. Pangalawa, in planning and performing the audit. Ito na naman, bumabalik tayo dito sa dalawang terms na ito. Effectively and efficiently. Pangatlo, evaluating audit evidence as well as the reasonableness of clients' representations and estimates. Okay, how do we evaluate the audit evidence that we gather? And how do we test the validity of the client's assertions? Which is yung mga representations nila. Lalong-lalo na pagdating sa mga estimates naman, di ba? And last, providing better service to the client. Okay? Question or point to consider. To make effective use of knowledge about the client's business and its industry, si auditor should consider how it affects the financial statements. Kagaya nga ng nabanggit kanina sa previous slides, ano bang impact nito sa ating financial statements? Kasi di ba, we are providing an opinion to the financial statements. Okay? Taken as a whole, no? So, we have to consider the effect to the financial statements and whether yung mga assertions sa FS are consistent with the auditor's knowledge of the business. Of course, representations yung assertions, di ba? Yung mga sinasabi ng management, paano natin mapapaniwalaan? Paano natin mababalidate kung hindi din naman natin naiintindihan yung trabaho natin kasi hindi natin naiintindihan si client. So that is important. Now, eto naman ang kagandahan, once we understand the client at kapag sa mga succeeding audits, tayo pa rin yun. Okay? Because, yung pag-understand ng client's business, tuloy-tuloy po yan ang proseso. Kaya nga dito, minarkahan ko, it is a continuous and cumulative process. Kung ikaw pa rin yan, nag-umpisa ka staff, tapos naging experience asok ka, and then later on, na-promote ka, ikaw na yung senior, hanggang sa tumagal, ikaw yung manager, hanggang sa ikaw na yung naging partner. So, nag-a-accumulate yung understanding mo sa client. Maaring before, medyo mababaw yung understanding mo, pero sa ngayon, dahil ikaw yung nandoon, so nagiging familiar ka sa business ni client. it's as if na part ka ng kliyente, ano? Pero hindi. You are on the audit perspective. Pag mga continuing yung engagements, the auditor should update and reevaluate information gathered previously, including information in the prior year's working paper. So we do updates, no? For recurring audits. Medyo mas mahirap yan pagbago kasi start tayo from scratch, wala tayong maintindihan. Kaya nga ito, no? Consider the following considerations for new engagements. Kasi sabi dito, pag first time audit, it will require more work, no? Mas matrabaho 'yan as compared sa repeat engagement kasi pag repeat engagement, alam mo na, meron ka ng knowledge sa client. Alam mo na kung ano yung mga procedures na pinerform dati. Okay? And another thing kasi, in terms of the balances, no, we are performing verification. Okay? In this regard, PSA 510 requires the auditor to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence that, ito, no? Tatlong checks dito, no? Una, yung opening balances, it does not contain misstatements, no? That may materially. So, dapat ma-validate, ma-verify natin that the opening balances do not contain material misstatement that will affect the current year's FS. Of course, opening balances, those are ending balances from previous year. Maki-carry over for the current. Balance sheet, running balance yan, di ba? Okay? Unlike kapag ating financial performance, yung ating mga income statement, kino-close po natin ito, pero ang pasok nito sa balance sheet pa rin sa ating capital account. Now, eto, pangalawa, the prior period's closing balances have been correctly brought forward to the current period or when appropriate ay na-restate. Okay? Correctly brought forward. Kung ano yung balances natin ending, pagpalit ng taon, dapat yun pa rin yung beginning, hindi na bago. At kung kinakailangang i-restate, ibig sabihin, baguhin yung mga figures because may mga changes. For example, changes in accounting policy. Okay? So it has to be restated. And appropriate accounting policies are consistently applied or changes in accounting policies have been properly accounted for and adequately disclosed. So ito yung mga additional considerations natin. Pag first time client yan, kasi we have to verify the opening balances of the balance sheet account. Pakatanungin ninyo ako, sir, bakit balance sheet lang? Tandaan ninyo, basic accounting, sa closing process, after we close the income statement, ano matitira? Real accounts na lang, balance sheet. Maki-carry forward yan sa susunod na taon. Zero tayo mag-uumpisa sa income statement. The auditor may be able to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence regarding opening balances by, sa papaanong pamamaraan, reviewing the predecessor's auditor's working paper. Pero tandaan po ninyo yung ating mga kinakailangang tandaan when contacting the predecessor auditor. Okay? Ano ba ang mga procedures natin doon? Kanino tayo kinakailangang magpaalam? Kinakailangan ba nating dumiretso agad sa predecessor auditor nang walang paalam, pahintulot sa audit client, no? Tandaan po ninyo 'yan. And open-ended yung aking question, hindi ko ito sinagot. That is a food for thought. Tama ba yung intindi ko sa previous na topic? Okay? In these circumstances, the auditor would also consider yung independence at professional reputation ng predecessor auditor. Okay? Lagi natin kino-consider independence, yung professional reputation din, Bakit nga ulit sila nagpalit? At tayo na yung pinasok, no? Okay? So, hanggang dito muna tayo, class. I hope medyo naintindihan nyo po yung aking pagpapaliwanag, no? Although parang medyo lutang tayo ng konti at may mga items na maaaring hindi ko na ipaliwanag sa inyo, pero kung sakali man na malabo po yon from your end, please let me know, no? Tanungin po ninyo ako para at least masagot ko po yon. Kung saan man kayo daan, dyan nalito. Okay? I'll see you soon sa susunod na video lecture. Maraming salamat. Bye-bye.